Welcome to today's Magical Musket video. Magical Muskets have a similar playstyle as side frames where we are usually reacting to what our opponent does. This means we want to go second. Our opening hand is great. I decided to save Maxx for the next turn for more draws. This will literally win us the game. I summoned Starfire and used Desperado on Shizuku in Starfire's column. This would let us summon any of our magical muskets from our deck to the field. Throughout the turn, it was pretty obvious that they had Effect Veiler in hand, so I attacked first for an extra 300 damage. Then I link into Maxx and attempt to use its effect, but it gets Veilered. While they're running low on resources, we still have a lot. Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion does so much against Sky Striker. It can negate Call By, Kagari, and Raised Grave Summon effect. They use Engage to add Ray, they summon Ray, and I use Maxx. Now they have to decide if they want to chain Ray to Maxx to summon Hayate and then combo off while I get to draw cards, or just attack. They decide to just attack, and then I use Cross Domination to reduce Ray's attack to 0. Then they decide to give us a lot of cards. I do not think it was the right move for them since they have no chance of winning this turn. They summon Hayate and Rose to attack and then link them into Zeke. For some reason, they decide to banish Zeke. Multi-roll sends Area 0 to the grave, Area 0 activates, and I attempt to Ash it. Then they called by Ash. I can't use Ghost Bell here since multi-roll prevents us from responding to their spell effects for the rest of the turn. Once again, Ray is summoned. Skipping Kagari, they link directly into Shizuku. They also set Shark Cannon, which we can easily play around. I summon Caspar and use Dancing Needle, which banishes 3 cards from any grave, so we pretty much destroy their game plan by leaving them with 1 Ray and 1 Engage left in the deck. Caspar adds Last Stand and we once again Desperado Shizuku. We link into Maxx so we can summon 2 muskets from our deck to the field. I summon Doc and Starfire. In Doc's column, I use Pot of Desires. Those 2 draws didn't really matter. The most important part is adding back Dancing Needle from our grave to our hand. Then I just proceed to the battle phase. I attack and then I set Lightning Storm so we don't have to discard a card during the end phase. Doc is such a good card. It turns our grave into a second hand. I use Dancing Needle to banish more of their spells and then add Desperado back from our grave. I Desperado their Zeke. I attempt to use Starfire but they once again Ash it. And I guess they didn't read, so they used Widow Anchor on Maxx. Maxx does not have a column effect. And finally, they give up. So here is our deck. If you wanted to play this deck on regular ladder, you could just add some rank 4s in your extra deck like Baguska, Utopia Double, and regular Utopia. Each of the Musket main deck monsters have once per turn effects if a spell or trap is used in their column. This applies for our and our opponent's spell or traps. They also let us use any of our Musket spell traps from our hand. Casper can add any Musket card from the deck to our hand. Doc adds a Musket card from our grave to our hand. Kid Brave discards 1 Musket card from our hand to draw 2 cards. Starfire summons any other Musket monster from the grave in defense position. Calamity does the same thing but from the grave. Wild shuffles 3 Musket cards back from the grave to the deck and then draws 1 card. Cross Domination changes 1 monster's attack and defense to 0 and negates its effect. Desperado destroys 1 face-up card on the field. Dancing Needle banishes 3 cards from either grave. Last Stand negates 1 activation of a spell trap and destroys it. Crooked Crown lets us summon 1 musket from our hand in defense position, and the monster zone in the same column cannot be used. This is perfect against decks like Tri-Brigade. As for our extra deck, when Maxx is link summoned, we can either summon musket monsters from our deck equal to the number of spell traps our opponent controls, or add musket spell traps to our hand equal to the number of monsters they control. 1 Cerberus, 2 Phoenix, 1 Pentastag if we need piercing damage, 1 Masquerena, 1 Lina. It helps us with going into our link 3 monsters if our opponent has light monsters in the grave, 1 Triple Burst Dragon in case we need to negate an effect during a damage step, and it also has piercing. 1 Trisbana. It is a funny card that banishes everything on the field if a monster is special summoned to a zone it points to, and then it burns our opponent. 1 Unicorn, 1 Avermax, 1 Appaloosa, and finally 1 Access Code Talker. So what did you think of this deck? Aside from Maxx in the extra deck, you don't really need that many URs, so maybe give it a try. Also, let me know what you think of this new event. I personally like the previous format better as I was quickly able to complete it in many accounts. I have prepared replays against Tri-Brigade, Crusadia, and Dragon Link. I will also share their deck lists in case you are interested. I hope this video was helpful, and as always, thanks for watching.